So, Family Search is a program that is a website that helps build what does it do? It helps create and build the world's largest online family tree. This shared family tree is home to 1.2 billion ancestors and has been contributed, the information on it has been contributed by millions of users. Why use family tree, family search, and then the subset, the family tree, instead of a different program? Well, Family Search strives to have one public profile for every deceased person. And what this does is that individuals then contribute what they know about that person to a single shared profile, rather than scattering their knowledge across multiple profiles on several trees. Now, to state this another way, I have a sister who lives in New Brunswick. I don't have my version of our family tree, and she doesn't have her version of our family tree. We work on the same family tree. Another reason why Family Search, family tree is so important is that the tree is live. First off, as soon as I add my information, I don't have to hit save. It's automatically saved. When I close down, I can be assured that what I've entered is still going to be there when I open up the program the next time. Second way I feel this family tree is live is that there is a helpline that you can call, and there will be a live person on the other end to talk to you and help walk you through whatever it is you're challenged with, you don't understand. They are very knowledgeable, very helpful, understanding, and friendly. And the third way that I feel that Family Tree is live is because it's a world family tree with millions of users continually adding names, so it can't help but grow. And an additional part, there are no costs to any users. It is free. So what are the benefits of using Family Search, family tree? By the way, I love free stuff. Benefits. First one, you can discover new information about your ancestors and even find relatives you weren't aware of. Each piece of information someone adds, such as a document, a photo, a burial location, it all sheds light on your ancestors' identity and life experiences. A second benefit, you can build your tree with ease. It can be tedious work to fill out each ancestor's profile on your own. But when you connect with this shared tree, some of your ancestors may have an abundance of information already in their profile. Even if you are the first to add a specific ancestor into this family tree, another family member can help by filling in what they know. So going back to my sister and I take advantage of all of her hard work and her expertise in family history. I have ancestors in my tree that I didn't even know about till my sister added them. Third benefit, you get a more complete picture of your family. The overall result of a well-sourced shared tree can be much more complete and accurate than if each individual takes care of a separate tree. Although information is entered by many users, and some information may differ from what you believe is accurate, Family Search enables all descendants to share and work together and to confirm their correct information. Fourth benefit, you can connect with other descendants. Working together on a global tree also helps descendants connect with each other. You may find a relative who has visited the grave sites, asked the same questions about, and even learned to love or admire the exact same ancestor that you are working on. An added bonus about Family Search Family Tree. Family Search is now available in 30 languages. 30 languages. So why not use it? So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen right here, and we're going to get started on Family Search. I'm going to type that right into the top here, familysearch.org. I was in here previously. Let me log out. I'll show you what it looks like when you first type in familysearch.org. You have an opportunity here to sign in at the top right or create an account. Or in the center of the page, you can also create a free account. If I were to choose this option, it's going to ask for my name, my birth date, my sex, and it's going to ask me if I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The reason this question is asked is because there are benefits to members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that are not available to the general public. And that one of those benefits is that we, as members of this church, have access to other family history sites for free that the general public would have to pay a subscription for. Once you select continue, and I'm not going to do so because it won't allow me to because I haven't filled anything in, but I'll describe to you. It's going to ask for a phone number and an email, and that's for recovery purposes, password recovery purposes. So if at any time you forget what your login is or your password, you'll be able to recover that information. In addition, users of Family Search can communicate with each other through the Family Search program. Now, your email is always kept confidential. The emails are transferred through the system, but having the email on file means that another user can actually contact you. And this is helpful when working on a common ancestor and you want to confirm information that was added by the other person or discuss a particular aspect, then that is definitely available. Now I'm going to sign in at this time. And for the purpose of the demonstration I'm going to do at the very beginning, which is starting a family tree, I am going to work with an individual. His name's Aldous, and he is allowing me to be him at the moment. So I am signing in as him. After tonight's presentation, he's putting his password back to what it was, but he made a password for me at the moment. So let me sign in.
I will mention there is a way, if you want to help somebody, you can get a helper number so that you actually don't need to ask for private information, passwords, and things like that. It's the 5 last digits of your membership record number, and then I think you would need either their email or date of birth. And then you can share your access for, I think it's up to a year, or you can also go in your settings and terminate the access. But that allows you to go into other people's accounts if you're helping them.
Thank you, Yura. That is possible. What I wanted to share tonight, I didn't want to make it look complicated. I wanted it to look very simple and easy. So here is a login with a password, and I've just logged in. And this is how the home screen will look as you sign in to Family Search. In an upcoming presentation, I'm going to talk more about this home screen. Tonight, I'm going to skip right to what we want to do. We want to start a family tree. So up on the toolbar, it has the word family tree. Select that, then scroll down to the word tree and select tree. Now I'd like to let everybody know that everything you enter in here for a living person is completely private and cannot be seen by anyone other than the person who entered it. So that's why I am being Aldous tonight, because otherwise I wouldn't even be able to see this name right here and not be able to add his parents who are both living. And we're going to eventually populate his family tree. And because it's a world family tree, we are actually going to link in to the part of the tree that incorporates Aldis's family name that someone else has already entered. So I want you to look at this tree. When you start a profile, your name will be there. And here's a great opportunity to add the family members. So we're going to add, I'm going to start with the mother. We're going to add Aldis's mother. This, actually, you know what? I want to show you a little video first, then I'm going to come back to this. This video will help explain what I'm doing. I'm turning on a video. If for any reason you can't see it, let me know. I've just changed tabs.
The Family Tree on FamilySearch.org connects you directly to existing pedigrees, millions of historical records, and billions of names. But sometimes your family tree will come up blank because FamilySearch doesn't have data to connect you to your ancestors. For privacy reasons, FamilySearch won't display records of living people. So if your pedigree is blank, you simply need to build a bridge from you to your deceased ancestors. Then FamilySearch will fill in the rest automatically. How do you build the bridge? By filling in the names of the living people in between you and your deceased ancestors. Take this hypothetical example of Holly Hooper. Holly's mom and dad are both still alive. So is her dad's dad, her grandpa. But her great-grandfather has passed away. To get started, the first person Holly adds to her pedigree is her dad. She clicks Add Husband. In the pop-up window that comes up, she chooses the Add Person tab because she's adding a living individual whose records are not available in FamilySearch. Then she fills in her father's name and information and presses Continue. Basically, she has just created her own personal record of her father and the first step of her bridge. Then she moves to her grandfather. Again, she presses Add Person and puts down information about her grandfather. She doesn't know her grandpa's birth date or location off the top of her head, so she'll leave that for later. Once again, she's created a unique record just for her own pedigree, because FamilySearch won't display an official record of her grandpa since he's still alive. Now she comes to her great-grandfather, who is deceased. This time she isn't going to create a record, she's going to connect her family tree to records that are already available in FamilySearch. Again, she presses Add Husband. This time, instead of going to the Add Person tab, she selects the Find Person tab because she's going to connect to records that already exist in FamilySearch. She writes the name of her ancestor, Thornton Hooper, along with one or two items of information that can help FamilySearch find the right Thornton Hooper. Then, she presses Search. FamilySearch pulls up existing pedigrees that contain her ancestor's name. Looking over the search results, Holly finds her ancestor and clicks Select. Great-Grandpa Hooper is added to her family tree. And, because Great-Grandpa Hooper is already in the system, his parents and their parents are also added, as far back as the pedigrees in FamilySearch are available. Holly repeats these steps with each of her deceased grandparents and great-grandparents until each branch of her family tree is connected to the records on FamilySearch. You can do the same thing to fill in your pedigree. Just remember these key tips. Add names of living people by clicking the Add Person tab. Link your pedigree to deceased ancestors by clicking the Find Person tab. By doing this, you'll build a bridge from you to your deceased ancestors, and your personal family tree will be up and running. Good luck!
want you to know that Family Search has made it much simpler than that video even describes. You don't have to remember the add a person or find a person. It's much simpler than that. So what we're going to do is add Aldous' mother. So I select this option and I'm going to put in her first name and her birth maiden name. Always go with the birth name. She is living, and that's all I'm going to enter at this time. Because she's living, it's not even going to search for her in the system, so I am going to create. Now I'm going to add Aldous' father, or the spouse of Aldous' mother. And he is also living. And I hit next, I select next. And I'm creating him. So these are like the little yellow sticky tabs that were in the video. They're only for Aldous to see. No one else will be able to see his parents because they are living, they are a private profile. Now I'm going to continue on his mother's side of the family, and I'm going to add a father. Now I've talked to Aldous and in preparation for this presentation, and I happen to know that this individual of which I'm typing a name actually is already in Family Tree. And so I should, by all rights, be able to find him in the system. I put in the information that I know. First, I have to spell Hong Kong correctly. And I also know his death location is here in Toronto, and he died in February of 1998. Notice I'm selecting the option that's provided me. I choose next. Now, of the names that come up, this is the information I entered on the left. These are the options that are on the right, and it indicates that 12 individuals were found with close to matching identifications. I have reviewed these earlier. I tested this all out, and I notice that his grandfather is not listed here, that the information I have was not enough to find him in the system. So I'm going to refine my search. If I had more information, I could enter it, such as a birth date, maybe a more specific city in Hong Kong. Because I don't have that, I want to tell you that every entry in Family Search is given an ID number, and they're all unique. I happen to know this individual's ID number, so I am going to find him using this method.
Sorry, I'm just going to add the ID number. If you have a family member who has already started the family tree, that this is what you would try to get from them so that you don't have to re-input everything.
So as I typed it, I didn't worry about uppercase versus lowercase or capitals, and I didn't worry about the dash. I just typed it all lowercase all together. The system will automatically put it to uppercase and put the dash in for you. I select next, and yes, this is the correct ancestor. Add match. And as you can see, we are working with a family who speaks Mandarin and/or Cantonese. The text is in Chinese. And I was super impressed as I expand this family tree as to how many generations there are. if you expand this to its fullest extent, the person who is the farthest back was born in 1412. So I must say, Aldous, I am super impressed with your family tree. I want to share some information about family trees and how you look at them. And so for that purpose, I'm actually going to go to my family tree and open it up. I'm much more familiar with it.
Chris,
Yes.
I got a question. When the time you fill up Stella Hui's father, I can see the last name you put is Hui. I mean,
Yes.
the first name is Hui. In the matter of fact, Hui is the last name. Would it be a difference?
It depends on the culture, and that's a specific question I'm going to have to take out offline this presentation. So if you stick around at the end, let's chat then, and anybody who wants to hear the answer. Thank you. So I just wanted to highlight before I log out and log into my account that you know whose account you're in if you look on the top right. So here's Aldous. You actually select that name and then there's options underneath it. So I'm going to sign out. Now I'm going to sign in with my account. And you can see I've helped a lot of people on my laptop here. There's an option right here, keep me signed in for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, you'll have to re-log in with your password. But if you're on a safe computer, one that say is not at the library or a public space, and you'd like to stay logged in for 2 weeks, I would recommend that because then you don't have to sign in every time. Another thing that is important to note, you can choose any username you wish. It doesn't have to be an email account. I would keep it very simple because every 2 weeks you do have to re-enter this information. And what I like to do with passwords, username and passwords, I like to keep them safe for all my family history accounts. So I have an account with Ancestry and some other family history websites. I have the same username and the same password for all of them. So when I'm doing family history, I can remember what it is. So here I've signed in. I will come back to this homepage in a future presentation. Tonight I'm going to concentrate on family tree. So up in the toolbar to the left is family tree, and then select tree. Here's my family tree. On the left side are some icons you can use to look at your tree. And you can move it around the page by holding your mouse button down and moving your mouse around. So this is me, Christine, my husband, our daughter. We also have grandchildren. Then my husband's side of the tree and my side of the tree is the lower side. As I expand it out and move it along, you can see the generations. Now you might move it along and then get so far down it that you say, I just want to get back to myself. I want to make this easy. So that is easy. Go to the top left icon. It's a little house and select it. You'll automatically be back to your home spot. Another thing that's nice is this button here called toggle. Watch what happens to the toolbars above the family tree area. I'll toggle them back and I'll toggle them out again. So if you want to see more of your family tree and the toolbars are in the way, you do it with this toggle. Another thing that's helpful, I'll go out on my family tree again, is to use this second button between home and toggle, and it is recenter. Now, at this moment, I'm looking at my portion of the family tree, so it centered it on me. What's different from home is that it didn't close the extensions I've opened. They're still open, but also you have an option of looking at one of your ancestors' family trees, which shows them in the center, all their descendants to the left, and all of their ancestors to the right. And so when you center, they will still be in the center, not you. Home always takes you to yourself. I want to talk about, let me go home here, and I'll toggle back to the toolbars. I want to talk about the fact that you can add ancestors from this point, like I demonstrated in Aldis's family tree. Can add a father or a mother to these individuals. This wife, the husbands are up here. You can also add children or view the children at this point. So you can see the children of this couple here. There are colored icons in these various individuals' profiles. Ever wanting to know what those colored icons mean, go to the top right and there's options. Use the drop down arrow and you'll be able to see what all of the icons mean. Now, because we as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints believe in temples, same sort of temples that existed in Old Testament times and New Testament times, and because our ancestors are so important to us, we actually do work or ordinances, special ceremonies for them in the temple. If at any time you don't wish to see this information, unselect it. So take a look at my family tree while I do this. Turn it on, notice here, and turn it off. It's not showing. So if you wish to view your family tree without the temple information showing, that's a possibility. Record hints, research hints, etc. are down here. And in future presentations, I'll be sharing what all of these icons mean and what to do with them. I'm going to show you various views, which are on the top left. Because all individuals' computers are wider than they are taller, landscape is the view most people choose to look at their family tree in. But traditionally, a tree, like an actual tree, grows from the ground up. And if you were to put this on your wall or on a poster, you would probably do it top to bottom. You can actually look at it that way. It's called portrait view. So here's my family tree in portrait view. Another option is fan chart. Now I have selected 7 generations because I know I have at least 7 generations. Under the word fan chart, there's some options here. I'm going to choose the first one, family lines. The computer automatically gives the color. I don't choose that. So I am in the center. My spouse is underneath me and our children, our child, is underneath us. My dad's side of the family is blue. My mom's side of the family is the warmer colors, orange and yellow. And you can see their parents and so on. Goes by 2s all the way out. Up on the top left, I'm going to select birth country. As again, the family search program automatically assigns colors. On the right side now, you can see what the color code means. So most of my immediate relatives are blue. They're born in Canada, but I have ancestry from the UK, Ireland, Germany, England. I have some ancestors or relatives in the US and one from Guyana. So we're all over the place. Stories. Take a little moment here to let you know the difference between genealogy and family history. Genealogy is name, date, place, the minimum details to identify a person. Family history, the pictures, the stories, everything that makes your heart beat. Well, here's where you can add stories. As you can see, I haven't got any stories added to my family tree yet. I skipped sources. That was not intentional. Go back to sources here. Sources are documents that validify the information you've entered. So a source could be a birth certificate, a report card, an immigration record, anything that has your ancestor's name in it that is evidence that they existed. That is a source. And we attach those sources to the ancestors in our family tree, and that gives validity, as I said, to the information that we have entered. Photos. This is identifies how many photos you have attached to your ancestors. This is my grandfather on my dad's side. I have 10 plus photos attached to him. And as you can see, there's a lighter color here, which means 5 to 9 photos. As I get farther back on my tree, cameras weren't as popular, and there's obviously less photos. The next option on the left side here is research helps. The computer automatically assigns the color. Data problems, record hints, and research suggestions I will talk about as we go through our presentations. And ordinances deals or relates to temple work. And so we have the color code there again. I always like to look at my family tree in landscape view. So here it is. So we've got a family tree, but how did we get all of that information in there? We know that because I showed it in Aldis's family tree. But now I've come in here and I want to view it. I'll show you how you do that. I'm actually going to select my great-grandfather, William McClinchy. Now here's a little trick for you. Select his name and a little summary of his life pops up. And on the bottom darker gray line, you have an option of choosing his family tree or his person. This is where you right-click and open in a new tab. The reason I like to do that is because many times I have many ancestors open at once, and I can always come back to my family tree and see, remind myself mentally, where am I? And then I can skip back and look at the ancestor I'm looking at. So this page I'm showing you is known as a person page. A person page contains a summary of all known biological and genealogical information about one person. In this instance, his name is William. Person pages are a wealth of collaborative knowledge for our descendants. We're leaving this for someone else. You and other users add what you know, attach historical records as evidence, and connect these pages to the pages of that person's parents, their spouse, their siblings, and their children. For example, let's say that a descendant created a person page for her great-grandfather, but only knew his name. Then later on, another descendant comes to this same person page, uploads a photo, connects him to his spouse. Then a third person comes along, enters the death date, and that information may have been obtained from a tombstone. and they create several pages for the children. So we get a bigger picture about this person's life. And as Family Search users pool their knowledge, these pages reveal the stories of our ancestors' lives. More than genealogy, we now have family history. Our collaborative effort helps everyone share, discover, and preserve their interconnected family history. So let me explain a person page. What can we do or see on a person page? So I want to show you this top white rectangle is the header box for William. What do I see? His name, his birth date, and his death date, and his specific ID number. If I had a photo of him, I can add it right here. If someone else has added a photo and you wish to edit it, that can also be done. I now have below that white top header box his individual tabs. This is different from what's above his name and then further above that. So I'd like to explain now what these three toolbars have and why they're different from each other. So the first one is the General Family Search toolbar. There's much more to family search than just creating a family tree. And by our 4th or 5th session, we'll get a chance to identify what some of those other options are. We're focusing on family tree. The second toolbar contains all of the things you can do within the family tree. And the third toolbar down here is specific to William. So when you open a person page, this toolbar is specific to your ancestor. Now scroll down a little bit here. So this is the top half, the top part of a person page. Life sketch. I don't have a life sketch for William, but this is where you would summarize your ancestor's life. And I'll show an example of a life sketch for another ancestor in a future presentation. Vital information. This is where you most likely will come when adding information for an ancestor. Their name, their sex, their birth date and place, christening information if you have it, death date and place, and burial information. Other information is also a field that we can add details to. So for William, we see he has an alternate name, and this is how his last name is spelled differently. I can also see where he has resided over a number of years. This information was added automatically when I attached census records. But if we want to add information manually, we just go to add information. Here's the alternate name. We can also see what he may be affiliated with. If he's cremated instead of buried, we can enter that information here. Immigration information, military service, his naturalization, which deals with immigration, titles he may have had, occupation, religious affiliation. If he was a stillborn infant, we could indicate that here, and you can add a custom event. And as we scroll down, there's facts you can put in. Caste name, clan name, national identification, national origin. If the couple isn't married, you can indicate they had a relationship. Maybe they don't have any children. You want to specify that so someone else doesn't take the time to continually search for children. You can put a physical description of your ancestor and so on. So there's lots within the other information field. Usually other information is closed, so I will close it. I want to highlight at the top of the page here, what you see on the right-hand side. Research helps. This is a very important place to look whenever you go into one of your ancestors' person pages. Family Search is also linked to thousands, I should say millions, billions of indexed records, photographed and indexed records, such as birth certificates, etc. And it's constantly keyword searching information you have from your ancestor and seeing if there's a document that matches. And when it finds a document that matches, it will pop it up here, which then gives you the opportunity to review it and see if indeed it is your ancestor's document. And then you can attach it. And next week, I will show you in detail how to do that. Search records. These are the family history websites that I have access to. And as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I do not pay a fee for those. These are free to me. So they're listed here and I can click into them quite quickly. I also want to show you this last changes. So everything that is entered on Family Search Family Tree is automatically saved. And if and when a change is made, the previous entry is never, ever lost. It's always in an archive. And I can see, and I'll describe what a tag means in a future session, I can see the source was tagged for this individual and that a note was made and changed. And my name is there. I'm the one that did it, and it has the date. For anyone who wishes to see details about changes in a more comprehensive view, you would click on Show All. It then opens up a chart and it has various columns, the changes, who made them, what was the date, what was there previously. It's all detailed. It's very nicely set out. Going down to the lower half of the person page. So I'm still on William. I'm going to view his family members. So here he is at the top left, and his wife, Amelia, her maiden name is Zaf, is listed below him. And their children are listed below them. And as you can see, they had 11 children. William is the individual we are looking at because he's in black bold. William's parents are to his right, Robert and Bridget. Robert and Bridget are listed with their children, 5 children below them. And as William is one of his parents' children, here he is. So William is in bold again. That's whose person page we are on. If you wish to add a child to this record, it's as simple as clicking Add Child. Or if when I opened William's page, I didn't have any information about his parents, I would click on Add Father. That is what it would say, or Add Mother. So family extensions, family members can be added not only at the family tree point, but also from the person page point. On the right-hand side in the gray area, we have tools, and I will talk about possible duplicates in a future session, or merging, which is what you do. Because this is a world family tree, and I may have entered an ancestor and someone else may have entered the same ancestor and we didn't know, eventually Family Search will identify them and say, are these two the same? And here's my opportunity to merge them and make them one profile. There's also a number of ways you can print a family tree, and these are options right here. So Family Search Family Tree is really user-friendly and has a lot of nice options to look at. I'm just reading over my notes before we finish up here. Okay, let you know that next week we're going to talk about record hints, talk about how to merge a duplicate entry, and we're going to get into the meat of family tree. I'm going to teach you what all those buttons do that you have been too scared to touch. We're going to touch them next week and figure this out.